So this is the Berlin Agricultural Commission. It's December 13th, 2022, 7 p.m. is our monthly meeting. And we'll start off with the acceptance of the November minutes, which Laura has distributed to everyone. So I presume everyone has had an opportunity to take a look at them. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
Motion,
please. Okay, motion's been made. Gonna have a second?
Second.
Second, all right, thank you. Any need for further discussion? Hearing no need for discussion, all in favor of approving the minutes, please indicate by saying aye.
aye.
All right, very good, thank you. Treasurer's report. Laura?
So, we got the November National Grid bill, which was $10.85. I have not actually seen the actual numbers come from the accountant's office on the grant on the bill to door construction, but I'm assuming that has been paid out. And Carl, I did double check the numbers with what you put in the annual report or the
Supplemental report?
yes, that the supplemental final report.
Okay,
So I went ahead and zeroed out the grant fund. So 592.14 came out of there, and then I removed the 107.86 to get Tommy's bill up to 700. I removed that portion from the donation account.
right.
So
I'm assuming that's been paid. Tommy hasn't come back to me and said anything.
right,
Nor has our town accountant, so I'm assuming it went through the normal process.
right. So I don't have any of the paperwork from the town accountant yet on that either. So I'm just going on what we know should have happened versus what
Right.
actually it's not confirmed.
Understand,
So the grant is now zero. The donation account has $3,484.91. And the budget is $1,258.05.
Laura, will you repeat the grant account monies again?
So
Please.
the grant is now zero.
Oh,
The donation.
Yeah, the donation account, sorry.
The donation account is $3,484.91.
Okay.
And I think we still have money coming out of the donation account that's, reserved for the Husky tiller blade repair for not to exceed $200. So after that, the donation would have $200 less, $3,284.91. And I think that's everything. I've got other notes in here for what we're going to talk about later, and I'll just hold off on that because that's not part of the treasurer's report yet.
okay. So you've heard the treasurer's report. Can I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report as presented? Have a motion? Motion's been made. Second, somebody second it, please.
Second.
All right, thank you. Any need for further discussion? Hearing no need for further discussion, all those in favor of the treasurer's report as presented, please signify by saying aye. 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 Thank you. Review of incoming correspondence. Laura?
So the fiscal year 24 budget packets came out, which we'll talk about later.
Right,
The November National Grid bill, like I just mentioned. And then I just wanted to comment that there still were not any right to farm disclosure notices. So I don't know what's
okay,
going on with that, but I mean, we reached out to the assessor's office and conversation with them. I'm not really sure what else we can do about it, so.
the sales have dropped off, but let's go one more month, and if we don't see any in the mailbox, maybe you can inquire as to
Okay.
what the situation is at that time. All right. Emails, any emails?
Emails, yep, a few, a bunch about the budget kickoff stuff, which already passed. One on November 18th from the select board, which was just sharing as an FYI, a Wheeler Family Farming Mass Department of Agriculture Resources Facebook post on the day before, which had a really nice picture of James's whole family and not almost the whole family anyway. And talked about whatever thing that he was, I forget what the Facebook post was exactly now, but boy, there was that. And then a notice from the select board that the tax bills finally mailed and they're due on 12/21, just in case anybody missed it and needs to pay their taxes. And then finally, also on the 18th of November from the select board, noting that firefighters were honored by Governor Baker on the 18th at a firefighter of the year ceremony. And it was kind of a nice little article.
I think that was as a result of their action taken during an accident somewhere up near the Bolton line earlier this year.
Yeah, it was
I
it was
guess
right
they're
at
being
the
commended for that.
it was on the on and off ramp of 495.
The thing you mentioned about the Wheeler photograph, the subject matter there had to do with the state having a program for transitioning of farms. And if you wanted to sign up for that, that would be available. So if anybody is interested in that information, I guess you could forward it to them, right,
Yeah,
Laura?
oh yeah, I can. Yep.
So that was the subject matter, was farm transitioning to the next
That's right.
generation.
That's right, yep. And then there was a bunch of, newslettery stuff that,
I looked into it, but when they said the homework was involved, I decided at my age I didn't need any homework, so. I didn't know any father. What the hell would it? I wasn't gonna do homework at my age. All right, anybody have any questions on any of those subjects that have come up? All right, very good. So we'll move on to the rest of the agenda here under old business. We still have a vacancy on the AgCom. And I understand, Eric, that you are interested in joining our commission. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, very good. Appreciate that. So here's how the procedure works. We will vote on that subject shortly. We will then notify the select board and make a recommendation to them. They in turn will get in touch with you and they'll have you get in touch with our town clerk to be sworn in. So that
Okay.
that was the procedure that will follow. So I'd like to make a motion that we have Eric Baum join as a member of our commission. Could I have a second on that, please?
Second,
All right, motion been second. Is there any need for any discussion on this matter? Hearing no need, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
aye.
All right, very good. Very good, thank you. All right, so Eric, do you have a middle initial?
H.
H, okay. And your, let's see, your street number on Highland?
128.
128, okay. I'm quizzing you on all this because I got to put this in the email to the select board. So.
Is this my homework?
Yeah, but you're younger, you can still do homework. All right. How about a cell phone number? Or phone number?
774
774
245
245
0595.
0595.
Yeah.
Okay. Email address?
It's EHB
EHB
200
200
at AOL.com.
at AOL. Oh, very good, thank you. All right, so we'll get that underway this week and we'll go forward with the process and certainly
Okay.
make the recommendation.
All right.
to the select board. And I'm sure there won't be a personal problem there. It's just a formality we have to go through.
Yep, I understand.
Okay, very good. Thank you. James, how are the cameras coming? Do you need help with this process, sir?
No, I got busier than I thought I would this month, but yeah, the good news is in about a week I run out of excuses. So
Okay, weather gets a little colder though.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
I'll get him up soon.
Bobby.
I'll get him up soon.
All right, very good. All right, moving on to new business. I distributed a draft of our annual report. Let me see here. I hope you've all had an opportunity to read it. I asked if there are any changes necessary or identify any errors I may have made. Does anybody have any questions concerning the draft I distributed?
I thought it looked really good.
Very
All right.
thorough as usual.
Thank you. All right,
Couldn't think of anything you missed.
all right, good. All right, could I have a motion then to approve the annual report for forwarding to the select board?
Yes,
All right,
motion made.
Forrest made the motion, thank you. Can I have a second on that, please?
Second.
Motion's made in second. Any further discussion? Hearing no need, all in favor? Aye,
All right.
all right, very good, thank you. Hey, we got an easy crowd here tonight. All right, let's hope it continues. All right, the next item up is the new business is the review of the community garden application. Deborah and I have had discussions on this. She's made some very, very minor, what I would call administrative type changes. But I don't want to steal all her thunder, so Deborah, would you like to address that, please?
Yep, the only thing I changed on the 2023 application is in the area where the gardeners make a request for the size of their plots. I noticed last year that on one of the columns, it said number. Let me see, it was number of plots. And what they thought it meant was what number of plot they wanted. So I changed it to be a little bit more specific, that it was supposed to be how many plots they wanted. And then I changed my phone number from my house phone to my cell phone because I'm going to be away next year during part of this process. And it was going to be a lot easier for them to get a hold of me if they called me on my cell phone than if they called me on my house phone. So that is the only change I made on the application. Otherwise, everything is the same.
All right, and this was distributed to you all, so you've all had an opportunity to look at it.
Yeah,
does that-
except for Eric, because it didn't have his
No,
email.
Eric wasn't part of the party yet,
Okay.
so he can't comment on it at this time. He's not until he's sworn in, so
All right, so maybe.
don't take it
Eric should-
personal, Eric. It's just the way it
maybe you
works.
should just know this is the application that goes out with the census every year for people to sign up for the plots in the garden, and they get sent to me, or they can call me if they have questions. So it's just a routine thing.
The town clerk has asked that we have this into her by the 15th. And just a reminder to ask her to print it on green paper, please, so it sticks out with all the other census documents that they issue in January. Thank you for doing that. Appreciate it. Any other questions concerning that?
Do I need to send this to her?
If you would, please, or I can do it, or if you want to do it. If you would like to do it,
Yeah, well, it's on my computer, so I might as well send it to her. And
I
have,
appreciate that.
2 days to do it.
All
Yeah,
right. Thank you.
do we
As
need to-
long as everybody is in agreement with my changes.
Yeah, I heard nobody complain, so.
Okay.
All right, moving on to this next subject, community garden rules. Again, Eric, for your information, we have a set of rules that apply to the community garden. Every year, we take a look at them, see if there's any need for updating. Again, once again, Deborah has been working on this. She and I have discussed it. She has made some minor, again, what I would classify as administrative changes. In the past, when we have made material changes, affecting the rules. We have gone to the select board for their approval prior to issuing them. It's my opinion that the changes that we have made to the current set are very insignificant and minor in nature and of administrative type. And I don't believe we have to go forward at this point for any other approval. So Deborah, could you please just highlight some of the changes that you've incorporated for clarity in the rules?
Yeah. Of course. In the general part, what happened last year was I had gotten date specific and I decided that was a real backfire because people were expecting things to happen, and with weather and different conditions, that's not a workable situation. So I just changed it and made it a little bit more vague according to what was going on. So the garden is open from sunrise to sunset from early May through Columbus Day. And I got thinking about that. The garden is basically open every day from year round from sunrise to sunset, correct?
That's correct.
Or at least
The
the property.
conservation land
Property,
is,
yeah.
Yeah.
the conservation
Yeah.
land is, right.
Yeah, so the garden itself, mid-May, which seems to be the earliest that most people can get in there because of weather conditions to through Columbus Day. And then on the plot assignments, I found that even though we were making a mid-April assignment available to Berlin residents, I was still getting phone calls well into the end of April and early May. So I pushed it ahead for the Berlin residents to through April. And then once that date happens, then the remaining plots could be made available to out-of-town people that I've got on a wait list. So I take in the wait list and then I'll open it up as of May 1st, which I think will cause less problems with kind of jockeying around with the Berlin residents. And then Laura did point out to me a grammatical error, so it's a good thing I wasn't an English teacher. In the garden requirements, there's one that talks about the no direct planting of perennial plants, and I have a double negative in there, so I'll just strike out the part that says excessive seeding or running roots that are not allowed. I'll take out the not because you don't need that one in there.
God forbid we have a double negative, yes.
I know, hey, I
Oh,
appreciate it.
good, good catch. Good catch, Laura.
Hey, don't want that one to come back to bite us.
Right.
Exactly.
So anyway, those are the very few changes. And James, I'll send them to you as well so that you can post them once they go out with the census. Is that all right?
Sure thing. Yep.
Okay.
All right, you all have received a copy of these rules and regulations, and you've heard the clarifications that we've made, which are very minor in nature. Does anybody have any further questions concerning this document? All right, then, very good. We'll proceed accordingly with that. Thank you, Deborah. Okay, what's next? All right, the next thing is our FY24 budget. But before we get into the 24 budget, I would like to discuss our current FY23 budget. Get some papers around here. So our FY23 budget in total was $1,350. And that was made up of the following elements. Spring/fall cultivation, $350. Ryegrass seed, $200. 20 cubic yards compost, $600. And National Grid for 12 months, $200. Well, since this budget FY23 was prepared well over a year ago, there have been circumstances and events that have taken place that have impacted this budget. Specifically, with regard to the cultivation monies of $350, those funds are still there. We were we received through an anonymous donor, a brand new 10 horsepower Troy-built tiller was donated to the commission. And we've also changed the methodology of the plot layouts down in the garden, which Deborah has done a great job in organizing. So the results of all of that is we have free cash of $350 there. With respect to the 200 for the ryegrass seed was donated, so that frees up the $200 we had earmarked for that. So in these fiscal year budgets, if you don't use it, you lose it. And the fiscal year ends at the end of June. So we have to expend this money or lose it by prior to the 1st of July. And I think Deborah has some thoughts on how we can utilize some of this money as it relates to the community garden. I know she has, because she and I have discussed this earlier.
So, question before I proceed, did we also have
Yes.
in that budget money for compost that we never spent?
What was the question again? I didn't quite hear it.
In the FY23 budget, we also had money for compost that we never spent, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. How
There's
much?
$600. There's $600 there.
Okay. So what I
Yeah,
would like,
but can I interrupt you for a second?
absolutely.
But that compost is, I believe, slated for spring delivery.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So we're going to keep that as it
So
is.
we might want to keep that.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And I was going to say that we
Okay.
keep it there as well. Okay. Thank you. So what I would like consideration of is to take that money that was for the tilling and the
Ryegrass seed.
Ryegrass.
the ryegrass. Woo! Little brain cramp there.
A total of $550.
Yeah, that we put that towards getting a gas-powered weed whacker with the fencing that's in there and the area that the mowers can't get into. We have a weed whacker that's a battery charged one that does not last very long. I'd like to ask if we can put some of the money towards getting a gas-powered one. They run around $250. And then also to get some loam delivered to top off the raised beds, because they're starting to settle a bit, and also in hopes of also putting in another one next year. And then we have a project that's we're working on, which is a butterfly garden, and to attract native bees and butterflies that we're going to need a little loam for. So if we could put 175 towards loam delivery, or whatever it's going to end up costing around there, and 250 for the weed whacker. And
Okay.
I think Carl did the math for me.
Well, all right. So let me just ask Shane a question. We'll be looking at about 5 cubic yards of loam. Is that something you could provide us with? I think I heard Deborah mention in the discussion she had with you, it was around $35 a yard. Is that correct? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
That's what I've been getting. Yeah, yes,
all right. So you can provide that for us in this coming spring?
sure.
Okay. All right, with that clarification, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we expend from the FY 23 account a sum of not to exceed $250 for a gas weed whacker, and a sum of not to exceed $175 for approximately 5 cubic yards of loam. So that's the motion. Would I have a second? Laura's been made a second. Thank you. Do we have a need for further discussion? Hearing no need for further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good, thank you. All right, and that leaves in the budget, the $600 for, it was estimated we could get 20 cubic yards of compost for that. That would be a springtime delivery. Shane, is that something you can help us out with as well? All right, that was a positive. Very good, thank you.
I'll
So-
get Eric to deliver it though.
Okay. All right, so we don't have to do anything with that. That money sits there, and come the springtime or close to it, we'll address it again and take action as necessary. So I didn't quite do the math since Laura mentioned that we just received another National Grid bill of $10.85. Prior to that,
That would leave $233.05.
thank you. I had 244, but yes, with that bill.
That's
out,
after the 10, right?
Right. 235 and change, you said? So,
233.05.
yeah, so that we need to leave there for additional National Grid bills between now and the 1st of July. I understand that as of 1 January, the state has granted the National Grid a 64% rate increase for electricity.
Mhm.
So we will probably consume all of that between now and the 1st of July. And hopefully we can stay within it. Worst case, we can dip into our donation account if we have to, but that's what that money is tentatively earmarked for. So that resolves, I believe, any open issues with respect to the FY23 budget. Does anybody have any questions concerning what we've just discussed? All right, very good. So let's move on to the FY24 budget. And let me just shift some papers around here again. So the budget package was issued some weeks back by our town accountant, June. I got an extension to the due date of 16th of this month because I wanted to, have our meeting, a regularly scheduled meeting for this evening and discuss it with everybody before we handed in the budget. The budget increase for the town is limited to 2.5%. So I also sent out an email to you all giving a recommendation for the FY 24 budget. National Grid, last year we had $200. I'm recommending, and I've had a discussion with Laura on this, by the way, as well. I'm recommending we up that to 300. Again, for the reasons I just stated with respect to the major rate increase that's forthcoming. Deborah would like an additional raised bed down at the community garden. I think that's a good idea. They've been very popular. We got 2 in the handicap area right now, and I believe, was it 4 in the other area? Deborah, is it 4 of them?
6.
Oh,
No.
6, okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we have 6.
6, okay. Very good. So what we have there are these galvanized, basically livestock troughs that are, I don't remember the exact dimensions. They're
3 feet by 8
6
feet, I
or
think.
8 feet. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're galvanized. We've been buying them from Tractor Supply. We also, as part of the installation of the raised beds, have been buying 2 8x8 pressure treated timbers and cement blocks to elevate it to a more proper height for our older gardeners who have difficulty kneeling down and bending and things of that nature, like I do every day of the week. So we've earmarked for that task a sum of $500. in conjunction with that, putting in the raised bed, we have in the past put down landscape cloth. This is stuff that's used at nurseries. It's not cloth that you put down on the mulch. It's a heavy duty plastic. I have a lot of it here on my property in my sales area. It works very well. So what we've done in the past down at the community garden is we put this landscape cloth down under the raised beds for purposes of keeping weeds down and keeping the place neat. And you need the ground staples to go with it. So the estimate for that, to buy a roll of that, is $175. And that's in the budget at the moment. Next item is ryegrass seed. We put another $100 in there for that. And additional compost for the following spring. We put $300 in there. So that brings us up to a total of $1,375, or a $25 increase over our current fiscal year, and about $9 short of the maximum amount of a 2.5% growth. So those are the elements. I'm sorry. Somebody says. Okay. So those are the elements of the budget. Does anybody have any questions or concerns on that? I'd like to make a motion then that we go forward and submit to the select board our FY24 budget in the total amount of $1,375. Could I have a second on that, please?
Second.
No second?
2
Yeah, 3
seconds.
people.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear it, I guess. It didn't come through, or the audio didn't come through. All right, very good. Motions are made and second. Is there a need for further discussion? Hearing no need for further discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Right.
Everybody unanimous? All right, very good. Thank you. Moving right on here. Let me shuffle some papers around again. Get back to the agenda. If I can find it. There it is. All right. The next item is review of supplement to the MDCR fund report. Okay, for our new members. Let me just find the report here. So back in January of 2019, the commission was awarded a $25,000 grant by the Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation. The purpose of the grant was to install an irrigation system at the community garden, consisting of an artesian well and a pump. And that was the limits of the grant at that time. At the conclusion of installing the well and the pump, we had a balance remaining in the grant of $12,385. We submitted on June 28th, 2019, a final report to the Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Resources concerning the installation of the well and the pump, because that was what the grant was for. In parallel with that activity, we asked our town administrator at the time, Margaret, our former town administrator, I should say, Margaret, to go forward and ask the MDCR if we could spend the balance of funds of $12,385 for additional tasks directly relating to the community garden. And I think she went back on 2 separate occasions, not positive on that, but memory seems to tell me that she went back on 2 separate occasions. And in any event, she got formal approval from the MDCR for us to spend basically all the remaining funds. So that being the case, we took on a lot of additional tasks. And therefore, I believe we need to amend our initial final report with a supplement to that report that shows the activity we incurred since that report was initially submitted, as well as the funds we expended associated with those activities. So I have distributed a copy of what I've called a supplement to the final report, and I will briefly outline what's in that for those of you who haven't had an opportunity to read it or see it. So we began with a balance of $12,385, as I mentioned. We had a utility pole installed by the National Grid out on River Road. That didn't cost us anything. The Berlin Highway Department dug a trench from River Road out to the community garden for purposes of utility line. That didn't cost us anything. We went out and got competitive bids for installing the power line. That cost us $3,435. We also had a competitive bid for the installation of a circuit panel, a meter, and other necessary outlets and lights within the garden shed. That cost us an additional $2,452. We had the company Sontag Pump that installed the well and pump. We had them install a new water tank and timing system that turns the pump on and off during the season. That cost us $1,450. We purchased irrigation lines, water lines, other fittings and related hardware to install a irrigation line down the center of the garden. That was done by volunteers at the garden. That was $225.59. The community garden shed was donated to the commission. I don't know exactly when, 12 or so years ago. And at the time, the shed was probably already 12 or 15 years old. So it was beginning to show some age. So one of the tasks that we accomplished was to have the building sided with texture 111 and other associated repairs and stained, and that was $1,457.07. The next thing we did, we installed 2 raised beds, the ones we just mentioned earlier, along with the timbers and other supplies for a handicap raised bed area. That was $774.60. We also installed additional raised beds for other gardeners who have difficulty bending and kneeling, and that cost us $1,309.93. We also installed a what I call seasonal fencing around the community garden to keep wildlife out. Wasn't 100% effective, but did help somewhat. Along with fence
Humans
posts, and it kept humans out, which was a good thing. Though there was very little pilfering, I believe, of vegetables
Right.
this year.
Yeah,
Along with 4 gates, that cost us $688.67. And the last thing we did was we put we had the roof on the shed was leaking. So this October, we had Door Construction put a new roof on and other associated work, which cost us $700. That would have meant we would have overran the grant by $107.86, which we took out of our donation account. So against the grant, we applied $592.14, leaving a balance remaining in the grant of $0, as Laura mentioned earlier. So that's the essence of the final report. I did make one change I changed a date of October 10th to October 13th to be consistent with our annual report. And that's the only other changes I have made. Does anybody else have any comments or recommended changes or corrections to the supplemental report? Okay. No one has any changes or anything. I'd like to make a motion that we forward this supplemental report to the town administrator for her review and forwarding it to the Department of Massachusetts Department, excuse me, of Conservation and Recreation. This will also go to the select board as well. My motion clear on that, or do I have to repeat it?
I will second it.
Great, motion's been made and seconded. Is there a need for further discussion? Hearing no need, and all in favor, you say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, all right, very good, thank you. I will get that out to our town administrator. Okay, so the last thing on the agenda in the new business is the AgCom organization. So, you know, since I've been doing this since 2006, that every January I ask if anybody would like to change positions and be chairman or other positions. Nobody's jumped to the chairmanship since 2006. I mentioned this past January that my current term on the expires this coming May, and I will not be seeking reappointment to the commission. I'm just getting too old for this stuff. So I've been discussing with our senior members taking on chairmanship. I've asked Michael, and unfortunately he has declined as well. I've asked others. Here we are today. So I would like very much, you know, we have just 4 more meetings between now and the 1st of May. And we've got a great bunch of hardworking people on this commission, and I would like to fill the chair with someone. And the only other person with more seniority than our 2 new members would be James. So James, I know I'm hitting you cold here. We haven't had an opportunity to discuss anything. Would you like to be the chairman, sir?
Let me ponder it.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I would appreciate, and thank you for considering it. So maybe we can, we'll take that up at our January meeting again then. Deborah, did you have, did you want to make a comment? Were you waving at me or?
Oh, no, probably just fidgeting by now.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were trying to get my attention there or not. All right. Very good, folks. That does conclude the agenda. Anybody have any other observations, concerns, or complaints?
Just a quick question. Have you heard anything about the request under the community protection monies about, or whatever, I forget, is it CPA? Monies about the request we've made for the permanent fencing?
So basically, to answer your question, no, I haven't heard anything more. However, I did receive a copy of the minutes of the capital, what do they call it? Capital Planning Board. Thank you, Emily. We had to present our CPA grant request for $45,000, not only to the CPA committee, which is supporting it, by the way.
Okay.
We also had to submit a copy to the Capital Planning Board. And they have received it, and the minutes indicated that the CPA organization is supporting it. So the only thing that we're waiting for right now, okay, is the town meeting. There's a possibility that between now and May, there could be a special town meeting. Happens almost every year. I'm not aware of anything that's in the works right now. James, are you aware of any special town meetings in the works at this moment?
I haven't heard anything, so hopefully not.
Okay, hopefully not. From his perspective, hopefully not. Okay. So if there's gonna be no special town meeting, interim one, the next time this matter will come up, I believe, would be at the town meeting. At which time we would present it to the voters and ask for their approval. So
Okay,
that answers your question?
yep.
All right.
Just
very good.
hoping for a special town meeting because I'm not going to be here for the town meeting.
Okay,
Oh,
well, can't do much about that. It'll be
I
what
know,
it'll
come
be.
on, James, get on it.
Create a crisis, will you?
Oh my god. I think at this point, the special town meeting would be the crisis.
Create a crisis, okay.
Okay.
All right, so that's all I have. I have one other question. I happen to be driving through the center of town this afternoon around 4:30, and the first parish bell was tolling,
yeah.
which means someone apparently has passed away. And I think by the number of bells I counted, I think it was a male, but I don't know that. James, I was just wondering if you had any insight into that.
There's been a few. I don't know who it would have been.
Okay.
But I think we just did the 45th death certificate this year, which is a big leap over anything we've ever done before. So
45 people so far this year?
yeah, I think that's the number.
Okay. Well, all right. I just thought it maybe someone knew. All right, folks. Like I say, I guess if no one has any other questions or concerns, I'll go forward with these several action items notifying the select board about Eric joining us. Thank you again, Eric. Thank you, James, for hosting tonight, and everybody else for all their good work. I will forward the supplement to the town administrator and annual report to the select board as well. I have a motion to adjourn. Nobody wants to go?
Motion
All right,
made.
motion's been made. Everybody's in favor, I presume.